afternoon. I was about to say good morning, but good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lauren Hastings. I will talk a little bit more about myself as the presentation goes. Today, I just wanted to talk to you about how to grow your online presence for your church. Now, few things I'm going to go over about who I am and what my brand is. Some terminology for social media. I want to talk about your brand because yes, church now is a brand. In my morning session, I use the word business. I know there's some people that don't like to hear the word business next to church, so I'll use brand, but I might use it interchangeably. But it is a business. It is a brand. With COVID now, we have to step up our game when it comes to our online presence. Then I want to talk about how to create content and then the frequency of content and then of course Q&A. But feel free to post questions throughout the session. I will try to answer them along the way, but I will prefer to answer them at the end because I always get excited when I present, and so I don't want to answer a question and then go off on a tangent. So back in the day, our brand or people knew us by our family, right? Or what church we went to. So I go to Berean. My family name is Lamb and Hastings. In the top left corner, that is me with a group of youth leaders from Riverside Chapel in Madison when we had our youth retreat. I have a twin sister. That's the picture in the bottom right. And then for those who've been around the conference for a long time, that's my late mother in the top right corner. So that's who we know. That's how we were known before, right? Before the world of social media. But now, if you look me up on social media, this is what you will see. So I have a podcast called Speech Tea with my colleague named Lauren. Yes, her name is Lauren too. We refer to each other as the Laurens. My personal Instagram, I have 1,800 followers, and on LinkedIn, I have a little bit over 1,000 followers. I also have, I'm a speech language pathologist, and I own my own mobile private practice called Here to Speak. And so I have an Instagram and Facebook for that. And then recently I started a consulting business called Here to Speak Academy, where I teach other speech language pathologists how to start a private practice. And so social media now is the big definer. So if you know anything about Instagram, you can have a private account and a public account. So I went public because I started seeing a lot of other speech pathologists follow me, because if you look at my Instagram name, it's Sassy SLP. So they saw SLP and like, oh, another speech pathologist. But I wasn't public at that time. And I realized I was like, oh, I'm not posting a lot of personal stuff. Let me just make it public. So I made it public November of 2019. And I have doubled my followers naturally. I didn't pay for them. I didn't pay for my followers. I built my following by myself. So I know a lot about content because I have my podcast, and then of course my personal page, and I've also am on the social media team for the National Association for Speech Pathologists. So I know a little bit about branding. So stay with me, and I hope you will learn some things today. So let's talk about some statistics, because I just love statistics. So majority of Americans say that use of YouTube and Facebook, the majority of Americans use YouTube and Facebook, while others use Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, mostly under the age of 30. So I like people to talk back to me when I am presenting. So let me know in the chat, what does your church have? Do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a YouTube page? Do you have both? Do you have an Instagram? What does your church have? What does your church have? A website and Facebook, okay. Give me some more. Give me some more answers. Honestly, none. Okay. Oh, hey, Toyin. Facebook, YouTube, but not that. Okay. Facebook. Okay. Okay. Now here's another statistic. This basically says that majority of 18 to 29-year-olds are on Instagram, 71%, 65% on Snapchat, and roughly half say the same for TikTok. Okay. So if you have youth and young adults in your church, you definitely need to consider getting an Instagram. I know a lot of churches kind of stick to Facebook and YouTube a lot, but Instagram will put you on the map outside of Sabbath. Okay. Now, here's some terms in social media. Tell me a term on here that you have never heard before or you don't know what it is. I got content, design, hex number, hashtags, frequency, views, likes, followers, subscribers, length of viewing. What term you do not know? Okay. A lot of people don't know about the hex number, but I'm going to tell you about that. Anybody else? Hex. Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. So I want to start with hashtags. So how did I build my following so quickly and kept followers, right? I truly believe it was the use of hashtags. Some people tell you don't use them. Some people tell you only use 2 or 3. When you are building your social media presence, I use, which I'll show you in another slide, at minimum, I haven't counted, but I'm just gonna guess, I know it's over 10, probably close to 20 hashtags every single time. Every single time I post, I use those hashtags. Why do we use hashtags? Well, social media is the new yellow pages, right? When I'm looking for like a whole new hairstyle, and for anybody who married, got sisters, just roll with me. Sometimes we like to switch it up. Well, there are no yellow pages. I could do Google, but where do people post their business stuff all the time? They post it on social media. So I go on Instagram and I put braids Atlanta or crochet hair. If I'm looking for a wig, anything, I'm going to put Atlanta on the end of it, because if I just put braids, I'm going to pull all kinds of people. And then if I find something I like and then find out they're not even in Atlanta, I get mad. So I always make sure to put Atlanta on the end. And that's how I'm able to find people and see if they're credible and see their work, because they have posted things on their business page. So when it comes to hashtags, you need 3 types. You have brand specific. So for us, that would be church or SDA church. And then you have content. So if you're posting about prayer meeting, you will put hashtag prayer meeting, hashtag prayer request, hashtag prayer changes things, right? And then you have something trending. Everyone in social media world knows that Monday is Man Crush Monday, right? You got women out there always posting about their boyfriends or their husbands or a celebrity they think is really good looking on Man Crush Monday. Friday, Fun Fact Friday or Fun Friday is another trending hashtag. So you want to have a mixture of all 3. So I kind of listed some here to give you guys an idea. And again, you need to pick the ones that your church, that identifies your church with, right? So of course, church, SDA church. If your church is still online, a lot of churches have gone back online to some degree, or church at home. But even if you're not online, church at home, because, and I'm quoting my uncle, Dr. Lamb, I forgot the actual percentage, but he told me in the middle of pandemic, he said that a lot of people are not going to return back to church, like physically. They enjoy just watching church online and church hop. I'm a witness of that.
I like virtual church hopping. It's great. I go to at least 3 or 4 churches every Sabbath when I'm at home, in the comfort of my home, sometimes in the comfort of my bed. I'm keeping it honest, keep it transparent. So it's important that you use these hashtags so that people can find your church. Okay. So here's some other ones. I said a couple that that's just men's ministry, family life. How did I find these hashtags? I actually went on Instagram and just typed different ones in to see which ones have a lot of posts. Meaning, if I put in prayer time, but I see that only 5 people have used it, I don't really necessarily want to use that hashtag, because you want to use a hashtag that someone will follow. A lot of people don't know this, but especially on Instagram, I'm not sure about Facebook, but you can follow hashtags. Back to the example of me trying to find a hairstylist. It's important for you to use the hashtag for Facebook and Instagram, because nowadays, what do couples do for their weddings? They give you their hashtag. Why do they do that? Because when the wedding is over, they can literally go on any social media platform, put in that hashtag, and see all of their pictures that someone posts about it. That's why you see some pastors now using hashtags with their sermons. Okay. There's some more. Am I going backwards? Okay, here we go. So don't believe anybody when they say hashtags are not important. So these are all the hashtags I use for my social media. So yes, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm trying to help other people start their private practice. So I have all those different private practice ones. I only did not use private practice, but private practice basics, SLP private practice beginners, SLP private practice basics. But then I'd post some stuff about students. Even though students can't open up their business right now, they can still gain from my posts. So I include hashtags that I know students follow. In our profession, we use the term SLP to be. And if you notice, I use the word and the number because both of them are very popular hashtags. And then last night I realized I need to add 2 more. Black SLP and Black speech language pathologist, all the way spelled out, because that's another popular hashtag. You do it because you want people to find it, and you want people to see the information you're putting out there. So when I was making this presentation about a couple weeks ago, I discovered something pretty cool. So if you look to the far right, you'll see, I know I have different hairstyles. You'll see me under the SLP entrepreneur hashtag. Just for kicks, look up under there and tell me, out of the 11 pictures, how many posts are mine. I will see if anybody can guess. Out of those 11, I think it's 11, 2, 4, 6, 2, yeah, 11. Out of those 11 posts, how many of those posts are mine? I'm gonna say 5, okay. Get 6. Okay, 4. Get a few more answers. How many people we have? Yep. 1. Okay. Definitely not 1. Bridget, you are the closest one. It is actually 2, 4, 9, 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8. So you have the top one with the pink shirt. You have the one with my hand up. The one with the glasses where it looks like a video with the play button. That's me. I went live a couple weeks ago. Then the 2 up under that one, those are mine. And then all 3 at the bottom are mine. So the first one, I was trying to tell people how much money they can make as a side business, having a private practice. So that's me making little pictures and drawing and doing the numbers for them. The one in the middle is a meme I made, and there is an app for that, by the way. It's called Mematic. So if you feel like that's appropriate, but there is an app for that. And then the one next to the meme is just me saying something. So I put this in here to say that if you are using the same hashtag, even if you post once a day, it's going to show up on that hashtag. So let's go backwards. I pulled some church related hashtags. So you have prayer requests. And when I was flipping through that, I saw no Black people, by the way. And there's one post that I like, but I have a problem with. So that tan looking post that says, please pray, that's a great post. There's no logo. There's no name on there. There's no website. What if I saw that and got moved? What if I saw that and I actually prayed and my prayer request like was answered? There's nobody that like I would remember to go to that account. Now, granted, I could have saved it, but if it had the name or the logo on it, I would have remembered the name versus having to go back and find the post. SDA Church. SDA Church. Let me tell you, y'all need to start using this hashtag because I was scrolling through and it's just a whole bunch of Hispanic churches. I saw a few white churches in there, but it's mostly all Hispanics use that hashtag. And so again, the whole purpose of using hashtags is to make sure that your content is at the top. Okay, let's look at Kids Church Online. I don't know who Jessica is, but her stuff looks pretty cool. So it looks like she's a preschool pastor and she has story time. And I was just impressed by her, not only her posts, but the colors of her posts, everything like that. Again, another hashtag where I didn't see a lot of diversity, right? Now, let's talk about branding. Now, I said this earlier, a lot of people don't like to hear the word that church is a business, but in the Asian era that we are in right now, we have to think about it as a business or as a brand because we don't want to lose our online church members, basically. We are now forever will have online church members. There's someone who doesn't have their mic muted. And I got I'm undiagnosed with ADHD. Can you please make sure you mute? Because I'm going to be twitching over here. Thank you. So you have to think of your church as a brand, all right? So hex number. A lot of you guys said you didn't know what a hex number is. Well, every single color has a hex number. Now I use Canva. I know you've seen commercials for the that platform Canva, where you can design things, you can design t-shirts, but I use it to design all of my posts. So I wanted to show you guys an example of my podcast. One of my podcast posts is called Speech Tea. We always drink tea while we are discussing whatever topic we have chosen for that day. And we found these teacups and we made them pink, one pink because my partner is a AKA, and then purple. And so there was one time she did a post and there was another time I did a post and I looked at it and I was just like, ooh, our colors are off. So I went back to our original post and I went and wrote down the hex number so that every time I create a post, I want to make sure is the exact same number as her. Also, there are a series of fonts that we use interchangeably sometimes. This is one of my favorite posts. I will forever say this young man's name. He unfortunately passed away, Jelani Day. His body was found in Illinois. He was actually studying to be a speech language pathologist. So this was a post that we made to right around the time they found his body, because it definitely was something that shook our profession. So here's my other branding for my consulting business, Here to Speak Academy. So you have the red and the blue. I wanted to make sure I matched that because I bought my logo off of Pfeiffer. If anybody knows what that is, I'll spell it in the chat. It is a place where you can basically just find somebody to do a logo for you and pay for it. They'll send you all the different types. So that's why I have one without words and one with that has the words in it. So why is it important to know your hex number? Why is it important to use your brand's colors? As you can see, these are 3 different types of posts for my podcast Instagram. However, we use the same color scheme, and a brand is to have a look. When we think about Starbucks, when we see a green straw, we know that's Starbucks. They're using their color scheme. So the top left is a post that we always pose a question about tea stuff or drinks. And then the middle is an episode post. And then Fridays, we kind of leave that for fun facts about our podcast. Here's another thing. I totally rebranded myself recently on my social media and started really pushing my consulting business. So I turned all of my posts blue and red. So these are a few of my posts. As you can see, they are 3 different types of posts, but you see how clean it is and how I'm using the same colors and it just looks cohesive. You just want everything to look cohesive. Now, I worked with Berean's communications team for a little while. And one thing I have to appreciate about Tico is that he made a page that's only accessed by certain people because you just have to know the / and the words behind it. But on this page, he put all the church's logos. He put what fonts you're supposed to use. As you can see, he put Robo in Georgia. And then he put the hex number for all the colors. So you have the gold, the blue, the gray, and the white. And then he had different sizes of them. As you can see, he had the one where it's stackable, with Berean on top and then SDA Church at the bottom. And then the other one where it's just all on one line to give us different variations, because depending on what you're doing, whether you are writing a letter, whether you're doing a video, you are not going to use the same size depending on what that content looks like. Does that make sense? So you need some variations to your church's logo. Now, just for kicks, I want to show you a few churches' Instagrams. And the reason why I've chose Instagram is just because you can see all the pictures in one space versus going to Facebook. But it still applies to Facebook as well, because I know a lot of you guys have Facebook pages. So the first one on the left will be West End. Now, even though West End uses different colors, one thing I appreciate is that I see their logo on almost everything outside of the funeral announcements. Almost all of their posts has their logo on it. So I know if I see that little W with the cross, that's West End, right? Now we all know what's in the middle. Whose Instagram is in the middle?
Oakwood.
Oakwood, thank you. Oakwood, I can truly say they have stepped up their game when it comes to social media. We know when we see that blue, that specific blue, royal blue, and that yellow together, we automatically know that's Oakwood. Even the little acorn with the O and the U, we know. I love that little logo because it's small. You can have oak. You see they stacked Oakwood and University on top, or it can be on one line. It's very versatile. Now, the one on the far right is Transformation Church. And the reason why I included it is because they have a series, I believe, for their prayer meeting called The Sauce. That's some lingo for my older ones in here. That's some slang, like, oh, you good, you you got something like that sauce. Yeah, I want that, right? Anyway, so they basically took the sauce packages from Chick-fil-A and put the sauce on that because that's the name of the series. And then as you can see, the name that you see, those are the different titles. And one thing I like is very consistent, is very clean. So for those of you who are the communication director or IT or whatever positions you are that have at your church, you really should have conversations with your pastors about their series or about their sermon so that you can have a graphic for it and make an announcement for it. I have some more. I included a former pastor of ours, Pastor Danielle Pilgrim up at Andrews. She is over New Life, which is the Black student church, campus church. And so as you can see, she's using the same colors, yellow and white. Now, next to the one in the middle, which I believe this is City Temple in Dallas, you see the difference, the look of using the same colors versus using different colors. You see the difference in the look? Is no judgment on the church. I'm not judging the church. I'm judging the look of their post. It's branding, right? So, but to give them a little bit of props, I do see that they use their logo, but it's a different color every time. And then the far right one is the Potter's House. And so I put this in to show you, if you already getting anxiety about like, okay, Lauren, this sounds really good, but I don't know what to post. If you look at these posts, it's a lot of quotes. It's a lot of quotes that they use, but they're using the same color scheme. You got the camels, but then you got the one with the feather, but it's kind of the same color scheme of the camels. And then you got the one of the sky, but they threw that brown in there. It's all about the brand and keeping with the color scheme, just the look of it. Can we all agree that looks wise, it looks good using the same color scheme? Yes, no, I told you, I like to hear feedback. There's a whole chat box. Yes, okay, thank you. Here's some more. So I wanted to throw in some other type of Instagram. So the far left is South Central Conference. And I wish I had screenshotted it, but I loved how, it was after I made this. I loved how they had posts about their pastor moves. So they had a picture of the pastor and like where they were moving to. The one in the middle is South Central Youth Department. They use a whole lot of different colors, but I do want to point out that they have the same flyer down 4 times. This is not, we have gone from the days where we just put it in the bulletin or we just tell people and everybody show up. You have to constantly post about something multiple times before the event. The far right one is the Women's Ministry Department of North American Division, I think. Now, here comes my next point. Even though they're different posts, you still see their color scheme, because I know that was going to be a question from somebody later. Well, what if I want to do a different post? Or what if you still see that purple and that yellow and white, purple, yellow, white. You still see it in all of their posts. Now look at theirs comparison to the other two. The look of it is just better. It ties everything. Thank you. Yes, Cheryl. It just ties everything together. Now let's talk about content. You can have all different types of posts. You have written posts. You can have videos. You can go live. You can do testimonials, right? And then you can do stories. So for those of you who are not on Instagram, but they just added it to Facebook, which is funny to see how these different platforms are always competing against each other. But stories are where you can put content in, whether it's words or your post or videos, and it stays there for 24 hours. Why am I bringing this up? If the only day you put, if for stories, if you choose to only put stuff in there on Sabbath, that's cool too. Why am I saying that? Because if you're anything like me, I only go through a few stories. So let me scroll because I follow someone who's going live. At the top in Instagram, there's only about, I only see about 5, right? I only see 5. If you're anything like me, I'm only going to go through my first 5 stories. So the more you post, the more likely you will be in the top 5, top 10 of people's stories. I know some other people who just go through all of their stories. I don't have time for that. I usually go through about 5, maybe 6 or 7 tops. So post the pastor getting ready, post the musicians playing a prelude before church starts, post rehearsals, post snippets of the sermon, because the more you post in the stories, again, you're going to get on someone's in someone's top 5. Now, I've grown a lot in my design, but these are a few posts I made when I was working with the youth ministry at Berean. So we call our youth ministry Encounter. So the one on the right is a youth church announcement when we were doing that when COVID hit. And then I kept hearing our teenagers were struggling when COVID hit. So I created Girl Talk and Guy Talk, which was basically just us jumping on Zoom and having a conversation with them, and just to let them know that, you know, there's someone here, we can talk about something. And believe it or not, the first time we did this, I actually got a young lady from the West End or Maranatha. And you know what she said? And I want to make sure I make this point. She said she came to our stuff because she saw that we were doing stuff for youth. We definitely left out our youth, and some churches are still leaving out our youth when it comes to this online stuff. So that's why it's very important for you to consider not only having stuff for youth, but being present on social media, because that's just where they are. Now, this is one I made in 2020. You know, the graduates of 2020 went through a lot. And every year, just like other churches, we spotlight our graduates. When I added this to my presentation, I said, ooh, I did this all wrong. Knowing what I know now, I didn't know what I knew then. But I'm missing some things on this. What am I missing? What am I missing on this post?
A hashtag and a logo.
Yep. Hashtag and logo. Now, blue are Berean's colors, right? The blue and yellow, I kind of did all right with that. But then I thought those are also BCJA's colors too. So I don't know if I confuse people or whatever, but regardless of my mishaps, we had people all over sending in their kids' names to the point of we were like, are they members? So it still did its job. Now, this is one of my uncle's favorite terms. He has told me this forever. And so when I first started posting quotes on my social media, I was like, I know which one I'm going to start with. The only time you start at the top is when you're digging a hole. So he has always taught me that you got to start somewhere, but it ain't going to be on top. So this was my color scheme on my social media. And as you can see, I put the quote on there, but I made sure I put my Instagram name, because if any of you guys are familiar about Instagram, you can repost people's posts in your stories. And because my account is public, anybody can repost my stuff. And so what if I didn't have my name on it, and then people see this awesome quote they will know where to find this person that used this awesome quote. So it's all about I want to say yellow pages. It's all about being discoverable, right? So I know TikTok is a new thing. And some people might not want to get into it. But I wanted to show you some examples that if you wanted to cross over to TikTok for your church, here's some really good examples.
Because I want to make sure you're able to hear.
Can I talk to the ladies for a second? Ladies. I said, ladies. Don't ever date a man who doesn't know how to get in God's presence. Why, Pastor Mike? Because if God's not speaking to him, he will not know how to handle you. The only way that I know how to do everything in my life is I go to the one who created the one I'm supposed to be with. And many ladies are trying to find a man outside of the presence and drag him to the presence. And you will never be able to get a man to go where he wasn't already found. And that's why I'm begging you, young ladies who are single, stop going after him and he got a good heart and he doing good and he all right. And stop trying to pick up a project. Find a man in his presence. Because if you find a man in his presence, then he'll be able to lead you. He'll be able to stay. Oh, okay, I got to get off of that.
So on TikTok, that always pops up on the end, but did you notice they slid in the church's logo right before then? Now that was for the youth and young adults. So I wanted to throw in some TD Jakes in there for my older people.
You don't want me, leave me alone. Somewhere will appreciate what I bring to the table. Get out of my face, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. I'm good. We fine. It's all right. You don't have to explain. We don't have to be friends. You don't have to come over to Turkey. Take you and your mama back over to your house. We good. I'm okay. Because your rejection is my direction. Somebody will appreciate what God has done in my life. Somebody will recognize. Somebody will appreciate the way I preach, the way I walk, the way I talk, the way I stand, the way I think. Glory to God. I'm glad you fired me. You fired me. No, you freed me.
Now, I'm going to pause it because one thing I want to show you, well, it's only 4 more seconds. Let me let it play. Okay. Oh, I was right. So they didn't do what Transformation Church did, but did you notice his logo was on the side the whole time? I'm backing up, see if you see it. You see the logo? His logo was on the side the whole time. And I want to show you a difference that instead of doing the captions like they did over Pastor Todd's stuff, they just put what the main focus of that video was on top. And you can share TikTok videos in your stories on Instagram. They're all connected. But you don't I'm not saying you have to get on TikTok. I just wanted to show you that if you feel like venturing out to TikTok, what you can do.
Can I talk to the ladies for a second?
Oh, did I go too fast? Wait. Yep. Okay. Now, I want to use my good friend Pastor Warfield. He recently started this thing called Grace Points, and I don't know if it's supposed to replace his prayer meeting, but he consistently posts this every Wednesday. So I'm gonna play it for you, and then I want you to put in the chat what is something that you like about his video. Oh, and before I start, as you can see, he just started this in September, and on the Facebook page for Grace Points, he has 4,000 followers.
Everybody deals with storms. Everybody. I mean, I'm looking outside my window right now at the rain that's coming down and being reminded that every person deals with storms. The literal storms, like those that are affecting Louisiana right now and the other southern states down there. the emotional storms when it comes to relationships and family, the political storms, the worldwide storms that we're looking at with Afghanistan, with Haiti, with this pandemic. All of us deal with storms, and it doesn't matter how strong you are. Sometimes those storms can be overwhelming. They can be overpowering, and you feel like you're treading water, or you feel like you're drowning in the waves of those family storms, those marriage storms, those career storms. I want to encourage you today that God still sits on the storm. That when the flood came, God sat on the storm. He sat above the flood. That's what David says in the Psalms. In fact, Scripture reminds us that when those flood waters come, they won't overtake us. I want you to realize today that you are so valuable to God that He would leave the courts of heaven, that Jesus would leave the courts of heaven just to deal with your storms. And that is encouraging for me, because there's some storms in my life that come that just seem to knock the wind out of me. They take everything to hold on. And when you feel like giving up, you want to give up and you can't. But today, I want to remind you of one of Robin's favorite scriptures. Could be because her birthday is March 16th and her favorite text is John 3:16. But today, I want you to hold that text close to your heart. I want you to hold it dear. That God so loved the world, He so loved you, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in Him should not perish but have everlasting life. The blessing is that God has given us grace upon grace for the whosoevers, and I'm glad to be a part of the whosoever. I don't necessarily have to be the smartest one in the room or the tallest one or the greatest one or the wealthiest one. Just let me be a part of the whosoever number that Jesus loves so much, that He would leave heaven to come and deal with our storms, the storms of sin, the storms of pain, the storms of anguish and heartache and discouragement, that Jesus nailed those storms to the cross and He sits above that storm now. I want you to be encouraged today. Understand that storms will come. They're inevitable. They're a part of everybody's life. But Christ sits above the storm. Your storms are never a challenge for God. If anything, they're a challenge for us. And they force us to hold on, to get anchored in deep, even stronger, deeper in our relationship with God. So in the storms today, wherever you are, whether it's the storm of your marriage, the storm of parenting, the storm of career, the storms of the world that's happening around us, first thing first, I want you to trust God to see you through the storm. Then I want you to trust that He's not going to let you fall in the midst of your storm. And you may feel like you're treading water, but it's indeed God who's carrying you in that storm. You may not be able to see it. Sometimes you can't always feel His hands. Trust in the heart of God, the one who declares, "For I so loved this world that I gave my only begotten Son, that whosoever of you would believe in Him would not perish, but have everlasting life." These are grace points. God bless you.
All right, tell me in the chat, what do you like about his video? Or what did you notice about his video? Or are you feeling like you just want to talk? Just unmute yourself and tell me.
Hi, I'm Linda. Grace Points was always in the view.
Yeah, he put that logo on the side. Yep. And I looked this up. The little cross was not little, but this cross, look, that's his church's logo. And one thing I do like is that not only do they post it on the church's social media, but he also posts it on his personal Facebook page. That's where I saw it. And it's funny because I picked this one in particular because, you know, you're either coming out of a storm or going into a storm. So I felt like everyone could relate to this video. And this is one I saw that got reposted the most. I kept seeing other friends post it. I was like, you know what? Let me listen to this video. And so I was like, that was pretty good. So his name, yes. You saw the W in the back. Did anybody notice that? The setting, yes.
Oh, yes. I looked at the W in the back.
Yep, right.
I'm a very graphic person, so I was looking at his background.
Right. And then if anybody know him personally or seen him, you know, he's very tall. So I appreciate him leaning over. It gave this personal feel, like he was in, like we
Your
were in a
space.
room just talking, you know? Yes, you love the
In your
background.
space, one-on-one in your space.
Yes, in my space. Right, right. So if you have a pastor, no matter the age, if you have a conversation, and I'm a visual person, show your pastor this and say, you know what? And I know people gonna feel some type of way, but when I say this, but I know, just roll with me. It's okay for pastors to wear a suit, right? But I feel like if we're trying to reach the masses, it's almost like how some people are fearful to tell people they're SDA, or maybe it's just me, because I don't know what type of SDA person they run into. I don't know if they ran into someone that was super conservative, because I'm not super conservative. Like, I don't know. So I sometimes, if we're have the pastor sitting at his desk, or he at the pulpit and he's in a full suit, and it wouldn't have given you that same energy, if you understand what I'm saying. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? Sometimes we have to not only change our setting and location, but sometimes our wardrobe as well, because that all has a role into his video. Now, here's another disclaimer. I'm not talking about pastors. I'm talking about the look, okay? So a lot of you guys said you have a YouTube channel. I am choosing the Gethsemane Church, Raleigh Gethsemane Church as my example. Now, I want to show you how it looks now with Pastor Humphreys. And then I'm going to show you how it looked when Pastor Larry Johnson was there. Now, you see the difference. You have a Pastor Humphreys has his picture on almost every flyer. He has a thumbnail for each one. You see the Gethsemane logo on each one, even though their colors, I believe, is this weird purple. It's okay if you're not going to use the color scheme of your church, at least have some consistency in your look and use the logo on your stuff, okay? Now, you tell me before I tell you what I think. What are some things that could have improved with these thumbnails?
Well, the clip art, it's just not blending.
Yep.
And
graphics. Yep.
yeah,
Right. Yep.
not blending. I mean, I don't know what they're using to clip him out, but it's just not blending.
I'm gonna
They
take
could have
you
used white. If they couldn't get that white out, then the background could have been white.
Right. Yep. No consistency. I'm gonna tell you something that really irritated me, and I'm just one of those people that I pick up everything. I am my uncle's niece. I see all the small stuff. So Pastor Johnson is kind of turned this way, right? It really is bothering me on that first one to the left, because I think because of the way he's turned, it should always, his picture should always be to the right. I could just be picky, but that's what I saw. Now the three in the middle with the yellow and the blue, that is their prayer meeting. They call it GHOP, so Gethsemane Hour of Power. Now, I got a problem about this too. If you look at all three of their speakers' picture, the third one is a square. The other two are oval. If we go, I appreciate them having the same layout, but we gotta be, like Bridget said, we gotta be consistent. Now, when it comes to Rahab and Gomer, clearly he must have did like a bad, what they call the Bad Girls of the Bible type of thing or whatever. I don't know what series he had, but those are two totally separate graphics. The fonts are different. So again, we're just judging looks. So if you look at this versus this, you see how it's just, I'm just gonna say it's different. Okay, just in case y'all go back and tell the Wednesday I'm up here talking about his passes. So let me talk about frequency real quick. Consistency is key. Bridget brought that up. If you are persistent, you will get it. But if you're consistent, you will keep it. So I recently, which I'm going to do later today, I'm having a master class on teaching other speech pathologists how to become an insurance provider. I decided that in the month of January and the month of December, not only am I going to promote this class, but I'm going to post twice a day. In the month of December, I gained 50 followers. In the month of January, I gained 60 followers. And that's without video. I didn't do no reel. I didn't do no TikTok dance. I went live a couple of times, but it was just me pushing out content. So consistency is key. Now, what do? I'm an 80s baby. So I like computers and I like pen and paper. So this is my January month. I literally print out the month and I put in each box, what am I going to post? Now, I showed you the post of my uncle's quote. Every single Monday, I post a quote. Now, let me ask you this. How many weeks are in a month? How many weeks are in a month? 4. So how many quotes do I need for the month? 4. I did that to take the pressure off of me. What if I thought I had to post a quote 2 or 3 times a week? That will stress me out, right? But because I only need 4 a month, I go on YouTube, I'll do like business startup quotes, or I'll do special education quotes, something like that, teacher quotes, whatever. And I would make my graphic and I will schedule it, which I'll talk about that later. So for your churches, do the same thing. I kind of started this to kind of give you an idea. So you remember I said when it comes to hashtags, one of the types of hashtags is trending hashtag, using trending hashtags. Well, Monday in the world of social media is Man Crush Monday. You have females all over posting about their boyfriend or their husband or whatever on Monday. Same thing for Wednesday is Women Crush Wednesday. So why don't on Monday, you might post about your men's ministry or something to uplift your men, right? Another thing, and then I'm getting ahead of myself because I forgot this earlier when I was going through my slides. Literally sit down and think about 3 to 5 things for certain days. Now, how do I come up with this? Well, I kind of do a play on words. So I want to use myself as an example. I have a how-to Tuesdays. So I have a graphic on how to file an LLC, how to apply for a tax ID number, how-to Tuesdays. That's why I post on Tuesdays. Wednesdays, I do Word Wednesdays. So I do different or word trivia. So if you remember the slide from before where I had a question about, is this a deductible or is this your copay or whatever? Like, that's what I do on Wednesdays. And then Thursdays and Fridays, I haven't been that consistent. I'm just gonna be honest. And then on Saturdays, I always post something for students. So that's my student Saturdays. So I just sat down and said, what do I want to share with the world in the area of speech and private practice? And that's how I came up with what to post each day. So let's put it back on church. When it comes to church, when it comes to your church, what do you want the community or world to know about your church? Where you want them to know that you have a thriving kids ministry. You want them to know that their men are cared for and prayed for. You want them to know that you have a food pantry. We'll play on words and figure out, okay, Food Friday, we can talk about the food pantry on Friday. Testimony, somebody always got a testimony. We can put that on Tuesday or on Thursday. It can be a testimony about, a parent finding your kids ministry and having a place for their kids. You just sit down and figure out, at minimum, put 3 things. Why do I say 3 things? Every church has several departments. So if you have somebody who's let me watch my words, not a little slow because that doesn't come out the wrong way. They are slow in sending you or late in sending you content because you're going to tell them, how many do you need? I just need 4 things every month. 4 things. It doesn't have to be an event. You can tell them to give you a quote. I just need 4 things to post for your department every month, right? So if someone from the men's ministry, they're like, oh, I'm gonna get something together. I'm gonna give it to you. And they never give it to you. That's fine, because you got money Monday. So you can get somebody from the stewardship or get your treasurer to, help you post things about that. I want to note the time because I want to make sure that I leave time for questions. So the times I have under each day. So when I decided to get serious about my social media, I went on Pinterest and Google, and I started Googling when is the best time to post. Because some people just post and don't realize there's a science to it. So every Monday, even though I know I have 6 a.m. on here, Monday at 9 o'clock, when I post my Motivation Monday, it always gets the most likes because that's when people are on, they're just on their phone, checking their phone. Also a good sweet spot, believe it or not, 11 o'clock on Sabbath. So if, let's just say your church starts actually at 10:30, you need to post at 11 and say we're live right now, right? Also on YouTube, 11 o'clock is a high time. It's a high traffic time, 11 a.m. on Sabbath. One thing I've been seeing, which is good, and it's another marketing tool. On YouTube, you can schedule when you're going to go live. And so I've noticed when churches do that, you see people sitting there waiting. But if you don't have that and you just go live at 11, then it's called the algorithm. You might not get the most viewership because people just didn't know about it, right? So some of these times are accurate for some platforms, because believe it or not, this might sound very tax consuming, but literally every platform has different times. So I just posted these because I use a social media scheduler, which leads me to this. You probably like, well, Lauren, how are you doing all this stuff? A social media scheduler. I literally sit down on Sundays, or at least one Sunday out the month, and I just schedule all of my posts for the whole month. And I think that's another thing in the past 2 months that really helped me, is that I just sit down and schedule them all. So then I could focus on my stories and be in my stories and talk and show people my day and show me going this place and that place and all the stuff like that. So I'm not, the only 2 on here that I'm familiar with is Buffer and Hootsuite. So Hootsuite, you have to purchase it, but Buffer I used when I was doing encounter stuff because they do have a free plan. But if you're really serious about posting everywhere and increasing your post, and of course if your church has the budget for it, I would definitely say look into a social media scheduler. And is everybody familiar with Canva? Because I want to have time for questions, but I do want to show you Canva if you are not. Is everybody familiar with Canva? Going once, going twice. If anybody says no, I won't show you mine. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right. I knew there was a no in there. All right. I'll show you in a second. So here are all my handles. Sassy SOP on Instagram. On Facebook, I have a professional page, which is Lauren Hastings SOP. I started a YouTube channel. It doesn't have that many videos on there. But if you have any further questions, feel free to email me and I will put my email in the chat. But right now, I want to show you my Canva and how it works. And then I'll also show you my Hootsuite. But in the meantime, feel free to start typing any questions as I'm going to switch screens. Let me close this. I want to show y'all my real browser that has like 50 million tabs on it. All right.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
What software can we use to make poster? Like when
Oh,
you
that
want to advertise something for the church, like a crusade, thing like that. What's the best one?
I'm showing you right now. This is Canva. So Canva, you can do social media posts, you can do t-shirts, you can do anything on here. So Canva is free, but there is a paid version. The only difference between the two is that certain templates and elements, which I will show you what an element is, you have to have a paid version. So what I did earlier this morning in my first session, I Googled, not Googled, in the search box, I said Google for everything. It don't matter what platform I am, I say Google. So I just put church. Yes, I'm going to address the hex number. Oh, thank you, Keisha. Yes. So I'm going to show you what template I picked, and then I'm going to show you how I changed it. I probably just need to pick it again. Where did it go? It was Pastor Lucas. Oh, because I just put church. I didn't put church announcement. That's what I did. Church announcement. So they have all kinds of templates on here. I personally pick the ones that look like this square because it's already shaped for or sized for Instagram. And if it's sized for Instagram, it will fit for Facebook, because you can post on Instagram and then share it to Facebook at the same time, but you can't post on Facebook and share it to Instagram. So that's why I have the social media scheduler. Oh man, where's the Pastor Lucas one? I should have just. Anyway, I'm going to show you what I did. So Pastor Lucas was right here. So what I did was, and because I have Pro, I was able to take the background out of my picture. So just for kicks, I want to do it again. Oh, there it is. So the Pro, I don't want it in the background. Ugh. Okay. So again, I am not a graphic designer. I've just been in Canva for so long. I've just gotten good at it. So the Pro is great because you can take the background out. Initially, it was Pastor Lucas. It was a picture of a white pastor right there. And all I did was change my name. Just go in here and type it, change my name. I can go in and move this around and change it. What's something else? Oh, I'll use this as an example again. This is an element. So it's a picture. It's a frame where you can drop a picture. So what I did was I took one of my pictures and literally and it'll drop it in there. Give it a second. You gotta be a little patient. Really? You're not gonna work with me today? Don't you love technology when it doesn't work when you want? There it is. So the great thing about this, my head is chopped off. So what you can do is just slide this down, and then now it fixes it. So I'm just gonna delete this and move this right there. Now, you probably like, oh no, Lauren, you messed up one of your posts. All I did was go here and hit the duplicate file, and then I can do whatever with it because I duplicated. You definitely don't want to ever hit the trash. So what I do is whenever I want to do another post, especially if it's like my quotes, All I do is duplicate it, change the quote, boom, it's done. Are the church logos copyrighted? That's a good question. That is something you need to take up with, actually, I'll ask Dr. Lamb that. Or Rashad, do you know if church logos are copyrighted?
Could you repeat the question one more time for me?
The question was, are the church logos copyrighted?
It depends on the individual church. If
That's
they
what I
took the
thought.
steps to go and process that paperwork and copyright it.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So back to the hex number question. So as you can see, I'm using my logo colors. So if I click on this color right here, and let's say I wanted to change it to a different color. The great thing about Canva is that you can add people to your team, and they have a thing called branding kit. So as you can see, I have my Here to Speak Academy colors and my Here to Speak colors. So whenever I make posts for either company, I got my colors right there. And so when you hover over the color, I think this was Cheryl's question earlier, it gives you the hex number right there. So let's say if I just type, you see in the box where it says blue or you have the color, I can type blue. It comes up with all kinds of different color blues. So when you find the one that fits your theme or your church's colors, find the hex number, because it doesn't matter if it's Canva, if this is a t-shirt company, if you hire somebody to do a flyer, hex numbers are universal. So it's very important that you know what your hex numbers, your hex number for your church's colors. Yes, that's how I want to say it. Thank you, Keisha, for doing that. Yes, the pro is not that much. It is only $13 a month if you want to do the pro. But I'll give you a good example. These elements, I'm gonna go back to elements. So elements are different things. It can be shapes, it can be graphics, it can be photos. The ones I use the most are these frames. So sometimes I use a circle. Sometimes you saw me use the squiggly one. And this is where you can just drop pictures. You probably seen this a lot. I'm gonna just throw this on top. Forgive me if this is too much. I'll delete some things so it won't be so overwhelming. I'll move it here. They have a laptop on there, so this will be cool if you wanted to announce that your church is live. Yes, Cheryl, I love Canva. It makes me look like I am just the greatest person ever. Let me show you. You can literally just customize it yourself and I literally got better because I just kept doing things over and over and over again in here. I want to let's see. Oh, there you go. So that's what it looked like before. Let me open it back up. So this is the, where'd it go? Oh, it just maybe, okay. So I don't know if you can see the pastor guy right here. That's what it looked like before. And as you can see, they took his background out, and actually the background was gray. So I changed it to my my color scheme. Same thing with, I'm trying to pick one. Oh, here's my quotes. I have two different graphics for quotes. I have this one and I have another one that I feel like, oh, she changed it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my friend because she's awesome. So for the Black Association for Speech Pathologists, our convention is coming up. This is something my friend Lauren did to publicize registration. So she just basically took a template and turned it into our colors, something real clean. And this is our convention logo. So as you can see, she went in and she made different types. And pray for us, y'all. We're going to Texas. Oh, hey, Hasten. She went in and just made different ones, and it's all the same thing. It's talking about, oh, she made a lot. It's all talking about registration, but they're different kinds. So again, that duplicate button is your friend. Now, real quick, if y'all don't have any other questions, I definitely want to show you a Hootsuite real quick. And then if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat, because we do have some time for that. I didn't know so many of my friends were gonna be on here today. I went to school with Toyin, and Hastings was like my I grew up with him at camp meeting. Okay, so here is Hootsuite. So it gives you analytics just like YouTube. So you can pick which ones that will be on your homepage. And so you literally go in here, you hit post. You can even post on Pinterest. I have saved all of my accounts in here. And I'm just going to pick something that I did recently. You just add a picture. We're going to pick that one. Add a picture. You type a little something here. For all my Mac users, I have all of my hashtags saved in a note. And then I just paste them right there. And when you flip on the different ones, it'll show you what it'll look like. So that's how it'll look like on LinkedIn. That's how it's going to look like on Facebook. That's how it's going to look like on Instagram. That is why I told you guys I love using the Instagram post sizing when you go to Canva, because it fits for all of the platforms. So then I can schedule when I want to post it. This new feature I like about Hootsuite is that it tells me the recommended times. You remember that slide where I had the time? So today, the hotspot time to post is from 3 to 5. But if I don't want to do that, I can just hit manual and set it that way. Now, another thing I like about this is when I go to the calendar, it will tell me the recommended time for certain accounts. So right here, it's telling me for my Facebook page and my Instagram, 6 o'clock on Monday is the hotspot. Tuesday at 1 o'clock is the hotspot for Speech Tea, which is my podcast. 11 o'clock at night, I told you that 10, 11 o'clock, people are up scrolling. So there are a few nights during the week is a good time. If you're like me, you're a working person, you're like, oh, I haven't posted today. Wait, I can post around 10 or 11. And no lie, one time I posted, no, I had Lauren post on our Speech Tea account. I think she posted like 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night. And the next day she was like, oh my God, you were right. That's a really good time to post. I was like, I promise you it's a good time to post. So it's definitely worth it if you guys have the budget in your church to get a scheduler. But if not, like I said, Buffer has a free one, but I believe you can only post on 2 different accounts. But like I said, this is the time for you to branch out into Instagram. Don't stay on YouTube and Facebook, because not only for youth and young adults, but Instagram is literally the new Yellow Pages. I want to scroll and see if I missed any questions. Y'all saw how I got my hex numbers on Canva. Oh, I didn't know that, Toyin. I didn't know it was free for nonprofits. That's good to know. Okay, any questions? I know I talked about a whole lot. Any questions? We have 15 minutes.
Lauren, I'm Linda from West End.
Oh, hey, Hey.
Hi. I wanted to know if you have some suggestions of how we can get our seniors or older members to pick up on some of the our online places to find out about our church. Some of them have, excuse me, some of them have the
Facebook?
smartphones,
Oh,
and
smartphone.
they're just not familiar. Some of them have tablets and they're just not familiar. So is there something that's available or something that we could use to coax them or help them along?
Yes, so something Marsha Bardot, she was the youth leader at Riverside Church when I was there, Riverside Chapel. We, meaning the youth department, the youth and the seniors always got together once a year. It probably should have been more, but the youth would teach the seniors how to use their technology. So we went to, like, we had a lady at our church who was a principal at a public school, and so she let us into their school building and went into their computer lab. And some seniors wanted the youth to help them with their cell phones. I had the seniors ministry leader. She just wanted help with organizing her inbox, because she was like, well, Lauren, when the pastor send out stuff to the board, I don't want people to see my vote. And so I explained to her the difference between reply and reply all. So I think this is a good opportunity to get our youth and young adults involved, and have a session or have a Zoom meeting. I don't know if you guys are meeting in person and have maybe a social distance thing, and maybe even take them into the sanctuary or down. Oh yeah, y'all have a youth center, and social distance, and just pair them up with the youth. And because when it comes to social media of this caliber, and what I think you're asking me about, like you said, their family has gifted them with tablets and they don't know what to do with it. You really need that hands-on learning. So that would be my suggestion. Also, you can do they know how to get on Zoom, or are you just saying in general?
Well, Zoom is where I want them to start.
Okay.
because now I know, like we're on Zoom platform again.
Okay.
So, for them, some of them that have not been able to view the service because they didn't know how. I want them now to be able to receive Zoom as a gift, as opposed to the enemy.
Got you. I'm gonna assume that majority of them have email. If not, what I would do is, I love those websites when let's say you sign up for a new account and you go to the little help thing and you asking how to do something. I love those screenshots. So I would say, get on Microsoft Word and screenshot step by step by step.
Okay.
And print it out and mail it to them, or email it if they have access to that. But those step-by-step screenshots, and with those big pointed arrows.
Excellent suggestion. Thank you.
That will not fail you. Listen, that will not fail you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Any other questions? Oh yeah, that's a good that I will talk to him about that, to do a webinar on Zoom. Yep. But I'm a visual person. Most people are not auditory learners. So anything, if you're trying to show, especially our seniors, you're trying to show them, they need that visual support. Any other questions? I feel like I gave y'all a lot. So either y'all quiet because I did good, or that you quiet because you're marinating on the information.
Yeah, I must say you did good, because one of the things I was looking into and I was searching high and low was how to make posters because I wanted to do the same thing.
Mhm.
And so like it was like a heaven sent answer. Like I don't have to pay for Adobe Photoshop to
Nope.
use Canva. So thank you for that.
No problem. Canva is amazing. Y'all saw my first post to now. It's literally been my best friend. So the more you use it, the better you will get at it. But I will challenge you that don't just get a template, change the colors, and throw your logo on it. Like, make it your own, because I got really upset internally. A friend and I did a workshop for students to let them know they can start a private practice straight out of school. And then maybe a couple weeks later, a colleague of mine, I realized she used the same template that we used. And I said to myself, I know I should be flattered, but I'm not. So I vowed to myself ever since then, not only am I going to get a template, but I'm going to make it my own. So if anybody gets lazy and just throw their picture up there, and it won't look like the same template. Yes, Pastor Newbill.
Lauren, my sister, how you doing? How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. So is it possible some of the items that you placed, or you not placed, but some of the items that you suggested, could you put it in the chat? I came in kind of late, and some
Like
of the stuff that you mentioned, like I use Canva to create like a thumbnail for our YouTube videos for our district's website. I use Canva for that. I use it for my newsletter. I use it for my personalized letter that I send to people that need letter from me or from the church. So I love Canva. But there were some other things you mentioned that I know I could use, but I just want to get everything you mentioned so I can use it, put it in my tool belt if possible, please.
I don't even remember everything I said.
Pastor, I screenshotted it.
So there you go.
Well, we good. Thank you so much.
I'll give it to you.
And you can call me. So you just
Yes, I
because
will.
I said a lot. So when you said that, I was like, which part did I say? But yeah, someone asked me this in my morning session. They were like, how did you learn all this stuff? I literally started following other people of different caliber. Yes, I follow Pastor T.D. Jakes. I also follow his daughter, but I also follow some well-known people in my field that have double, if not triple, the followers that I have. Like, even though I'm really big on numbers, I don't want you guys to get caught up on numbers, because even though I only have 1,800 followers on my personal/professional Instagram, I realized I have made a big impact. So I was talking to a colleague one day, and she was like, yeah, I was talking to one of my friends, and she said, yeah, I follow that sassy SLP girl. And she was like, wait, oh my God, that's my friend. So even though I didn't have a bunch of people to sign up for my class, I only had a small few, I still am realizing that, one, people love my content. So focus more on the content, and the followers and the subscribers will come. I can't tell you how many people have slid into my DMs and said, hey, because you are posting about this stuff, you made me rethink about starting a private practice, or I'm learning so much following you. So focus more on your content, and the people will come. The people will come. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you. You can thank Dr. Lamb for lumping me into this.
Hey, Lauren. Hey, what's up? I did want to say that Canva is free for nonprofits. So they will verify whether or not your church is a nonprofit, and once they verify it, then your premium account will be free.
Oh,
I just want to share that.
That's great to know. I would definitely tell my uncle that too. That is great to know.
Pastor Ole, could you share how we get there? Because I've been paying for mine, and I can save that money.
You're welcome, Greg and Tony. You might have to call. Oh, here, I found it. Let me share it with you guys real quick since we have like 4 minutes. If you look up under pricing right here, it says nonprofits. Canva Pro is free for all registered nonprofits, and you have to apply. Oh, that's good to know, man.
God be praised.
So yeah, there's some eligibility things going on, but I'll make sure to tell not only Rashad but Dr. Lamb that too, because I didn't know that. And so my morning session people, I want to make sure they know that as well. Thank you. I need to tell my organization that, because we're a nonprofit too. We paying for it. So thank you for coming. I'm glad you were able to get a lot of information. And again, if you want a chat board or even if you want me to help you out with your Canva a little bit, feel free to reach out to me at Miss Lauren, that's MSLaurenSLP@gmail.com, or you can find me on social media. So you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks for coming.